Once Tulsi Gabbard announced that she was running for president, pretty much the entirety of her record was combed through and put on display. And she received a lot of criticism, not just from individuals within the neoliberal center left, but from the progressive left as well. Now, looking at all of these critiques, I actually released a video titled "Are Criticisms of Tulsi Gabbard's Record Fair?" And in this video, I went through all of the new revelations about her record, and I distinguished between the criticisms that I found fair and the ones that I thought were illegitimate and, frankly, nothing more than disingenuous smear attempts. Now, for a good portion of that video, I was critical of her past on LGBTQ rights, because even if I applauded her for her pro-LGBTQ voting record, I still took issue with the fact that, according to an Aussie article where they interviewed Tulsi, her personal views haven't changed. Now, to me, that was something that I found hurtful, because I don't want you to just begrudgingly go along with pro-LGBTQ rights and co-sponsor LGBTQ equality legislation because that's what you think is expected of you as a Democrat. I want you to want to fight for us. So I took issue with that, and I was critical of the fact that her personal views haven't evolved to match her voting record. And to be fair, that wasn't my only criticism of Tulsi Gabbard's record. I also criticized her stance on torture, her association with Modi and BJP, along with her vote against Syrian and Iraqi refugees. But for the most part, I paid a lot of attention to her anti-gay past, and as a result, she released a video apologizing again for her past stance and statements on LGBTQ rights, and her campaign also reached out to me in order to clarify her position. So I'm going to show you the video that she released in its entirety, and then I'm going to tell you about her campaign reaching out to me and what they said and my thoughts on that.
In my past, I said and believed things that were wrong, and worse, they were very hurtful to people in the LGBTQ community and to their loved ones. Many years ago, I apologized for my words and, more importantly, for the negative impact that they had. I sincerely repeat my apology today. I'm deeply sorry for having said them. My views have changed significantly since then, and my record in Congress over the last 6 years reflects what is in my heart: a strong and ongoing commitment to fighting for LGBTQ rights. Now, I know that LGBTQ people still struggle. They're still facing discrimination, still facing abuse, and still fear that hard-won rights are going to be taken away by people who hold views like I used to. That cannot happen, because every American deserves to be treated equally by their fellow Americans and under the law. I will continue to fight for LGBTQ people, whether they're in school, serving in uniform, trying to get health care, taking care of their family, or looking for a home. Now, I grew up knowing that every person is a child of God and equally loved by God. And I've always believed in the fundamental rights and equality of all people. But I also grew up in a socially conservative household, where I was raised to believe that marriage should only be between a man and a woman. So for a period of my life, I didn't see the contradiction in those beliefs. While many Americans may be able to relate to growing up in a conservative home, my story's a little different because my father was very outspoken. He was an activist who was fighting against gay rights and marriage equality in Hawaii. And at that time, I forcefully defended him and his cause. But over the years, as I grew up, I formed my own opinions based on my life experiences that significantly changed my views at a very personal level in truly having aloha, love for all people, and making sure that every American, regardless of sexual orientation, is treated equally under the law. I look forward to being able to share more of my story and my experiences growing up, not as an excuse, but in the hopes that it may inspire others to truly live aloha, to love and care for others. When we deny LGBT people the basic rights that exist for every American, we're denying their humanity, denying that they are equal. And we're also creating a dangerous environment that breeds discrimination and violence. Because when we divide people based on who they are or who they love, all we're doing is adding fuel to the flames that perpetuate bigotry and hatred. Now, I'm so grateful to my friends, my loved ones, both gay and straight, who have patiently helped me see how my past positions on these issues were at odds with my values, my aloha, and that they were causing people harm. I regret the role that I played in causing such pain, and I remain committed to fighting for LGBT equality.
I really appreciated that, and even if she already apologized in 2012, I do feel as if that video was necessary. Not necessarily because I felt like she needs to constantly apologize, because, I mean, I accept the apology that she issued in 2012. But what was important about that video is, quote, "My record in Congress over the last 6 years reflects what's in my heart, a strong and ongoing commitment to fighting for LGBTQ rights." And she also said, again, her views changed at a very personal level. So this is a positive step that she took to clarify her position. Now, I'd like to hear more about how her personal stance has in fact changed. But when it comes to that now infamous sentence in the Aussie article, I was told by a member of Tulsi's team that the article doesn't make it clear that she was specifically referring to her personal views on abortion rights, not homosexuality. Now, in theory, that should make me feel better, right? Because it gets to the crux of my main criticism of her stance on LGBTQ rights. But with that being said, I made it clear, and I said this to Tulsi's team, that the problem is that Tulsi had multiple opportunities to make her personal stance known, to clarify. But she passed up those opportunities. For example, when the Hawaii LGBTQ caucus declined to endorse her, citing the Aussie article and what was said about her personal views specifically, well, when she issued a statement, she didn't address her personal stance then. She simply said that she co-sponsored numerous LGBTQ bills. She could have made it clear that her personal views did change, but she didn't. So there are people who are rightfully wondering whether or not this is just political posturing. This is something that Lauren Steiner brought up when I was on her podcast recently. But with that being said, the video that she released is clearly an attempt to clarify that. But I think that really hashing out why she personally has evolved is important. But I am pleased to announce that after Tulsi's team reached out to me, we had a really long, lengthy conversation, and I came away feeling a little bit more confident that Tulsi is going to try to fight for us. And we agreed that it's really important for Tulsi Gabbard to come on the program. So we are currently in talks to bring her on the Humanist Report so we can talk about her personal stance on LGBTQ rights, but also address the other criticisms, because that wasn't my only criticism, even though, that's what's being focused on. I also want to know about her connection to Modi. I want to know about why she voted against Syrian refugees. I want to know if she's still feeling conflicted about torture. So I think that not running away from these criticisms and addressing them head on is something that she needs to do, and her team seemed more than willing to come on the program and discuss everything. Let me ask whatever I want to. So again, to reiterate, the video she released is a positive step towards clarifying her position, her personal feelings on LGBTQ rights, and she addressed the crux of my issue. I just want to hear more, simple as that, and I would like to know what her current stances are on a lot of these positions that I took issue with in that video. And it seems as if they're aware of these criticisms and they acknowledge that these could be problems that do in fact need to be addressed. So understand that for a politician to listen to criticism from someone in the independent media, I mean, that's really huge, right? So that's valuable in and of itself. But I do want to challenge her, not because I don't like Tulsi, and let me address this as well, because there were a lot of people that gave me some pushback. But understand, let me make something very clear here. I wasn't critical of Tulsi Gabbard because I have a nefarious pro-Bernie agenda. Even if I am supportive of Bernie Sanders, my goal was to criticize Tulsi in a way that's objective. Because if we try to sweep all of these negative aspects about her record under the rug, then that's going to make her a weaker candidate. We can't pretend as if these criticisms don't exist, in the same way that the neoliberals in 2016 tried to pretend as if all of the issues we had with Hillary Clinton simply were nonsensical. Now, of course, that's not to say that Tulsi Gabbard is anything like Hillary Clinton. I'm just saying that we need to be consistent in holding all politicians' feet to the fire. And my goal is not to break down Tulsi Gabbard. My goal is to build up Tulsi Gabbard. Because understand, I have no interest in crushing Tulsi at the behest of Bernie. If Tulsi Gabbard wins the nomination, it very well may be the case that Bernie is her VP, or if Bernie wins the nomination, she could be his VP. So these are individuals that I see as allies, and by criticizing them, we are making them stronger. And if you're going to criticize them, if you're going to hash out these things, and if you want answers to questions that may be lingering about the records, now is the time to do it. The election is 2 years away. Now is the time to do it. Not a single primary will take place until about a year from now. So if you have questions and you want answers about their record, don't sit on it and pretend as if everything is peachy keen. No candidate is perfect. No candidate, including Bernie Sanders. So my goal here, and trying to be objective and fair in looking at which criticisms of Tulsi I agreed with and disagreed with, my goal was simply objectivity, and that's it. So I will leave that there. I hope that I can give you an update soon as to when Tulsi will come on the show, but I'm definitely looking forward to it. And understand that I like Tulsi Gabbard. I just want her to address these things, and if she does address these things, I think it'll make her a stronger candidate. It'll give us something to point to when other people might find out about Tulsi and then have questions about these things. So, yeah.
You could support the Humanist Report at patreon.com/Humanist Report. But trust me, I'd have way more supporters on Patreon if that was my podcast. Sad.